Hi and welcome to our coaching module on how to turn any job interview into a job offer, part of the Beyond Campus Career Bootcamp series. This is a critical first step if you're just about to start going for your first interview, or you're finding that you're repeatedly getting rejected at interview stage and are maybe frustrated and not sure why, and also for those who may have been in their current role for many years, want a career change but are fearful of the interview process and in need of a confidence boost. So grab a pen and paper and let's make a start. Here you'll see the essential 9 steps to get you from where you are today, we've used graduates as an example here, to your dream career. All of these are covered in our Career Bootcamp coaching modules, but today we'll be focusing on the one key step highlighted here, the interview, where we'll do a deep dive into the hiring process and tell you everything you need to know. The most common interview questions you can expect to get and fail-safe ways to respond, plus some of the trickier ones you might be faced with and how to sell your own personal achievements and experiences at every opportunity. You can also download your personal journal to capture key points as you progress through the lectures. We'll start with an introduction to interviews, then take a look at our very own Talent Tracker tool, which is a key resource for this stage of your recruitment journey, and identify what the recruiter is looking for. We'll then move on to the general questions you might get asked, as well as competency-based questions and the STAR method, which will give you a framework for answering them. We'll then move on to the point where the interviewer asks if you have any questions and look at some great ones, then some tricky questions you might be faced with. I'll then share with you some different types of questions you might come across if you're interviewing with a startup organisation, my top tips on how to make a good impression, and a quick refresher on how to prepare. Next up, we have how to avoid the OMG. More on that later, but this is the top 3 reasons why I've seen people consistently fail at interviews. Then we'll finish up with key takeaways and some additional resources for you. So let's get started. Hi and welcome. I'm Holly Ashford and I'm thrilled you've joined me for all the support, expertise and inspiration you need to enable you to get the best from your career. Many years ago, I graduated with a degree in International Business Studies, but had no clue where to go next. I applied for anything and everything out there, and somehow I got my dream job, a place on a global graduate training scheme for one of the largest companies in the world. To this day, I don't know how I did it. Luck must have played a huge part. But the world is very different for graduates today. Way more of them and fewer jobs. Relying on luck is no longer enough. I went from strength to strength. Within my first 2 years, I had worked across the UK, France, Sweden and Norway, spent a year as a project manager in Japan, and taken on my first people leadership role. It was challenging, exhilarating, and I wouldn't change it for the world. I want the same sort of amazing career for you. Throughout my 20-year corporate career, interviewing hundreds of people for roles, designing and running assessment centres, and progressing to more and more senior roles myself, I have a unique insight into what secures a job offer, the common mistakes almost everyone makes at interview, how people stand out, and what makes them enjoy their jobs. As I said before, I was lucky. For 20 years I worked my way around different functions and business units of a global multinational organisation, and for 18 of those years I was learning, growing, and spending time doing the things I loved and the things I was good at, coaching and mentoring people to develop themselves and build amazing careers. But after many years the bubble burst. By 2015 I felt stuck, maybe as you do now if you've been working for a number of years, and I knew I needed a change. So at the end of 2015 I left my fabulous career to do my thing, the launch of Beyond Campus, to share all the knowledge I had gained to benefit people like you. So thanks for joining me. I promise you will learn loads. And simply by seeking out coaching for such an important area of your life, you've demonstrated that determination to change things for the better. Now let's get into the meat of this by taking a look at how you tailor your experiences to what the employer is looking for. Employers use interviews to assess how well you match the requirements of the job. They also allow you to ensure that the organisation is a good fit for you. The employer already has an indication of your qualities from your application, but you must confirm in person that you have the skills and experience to actually perform in the role. This makes preparing interview questions in advance especially important. There are a number of different types of interview that I'll now walk you through. Telephone interviews. The initial call is conducted either by the employer or more commonly by a recruitment agency acting on their behalf. It's designed to eliminate candidates based on the most essential criteria for the role. They normally last 20 to 30 minutes, and successful applicants would normally be invited to the next stage. You should prepare for a telephone interview the same as you would a face-to-face one. So make sure you're somewhere quiet, have your phone turned off, have a pen and paper and glass of water handy, and ensure you have key documents and facts to hand. The advantage if you're talking to the recruiter over the phone is that you can have everything there to refer to quite easily. Speak slowly and clearly and ensure you fully answer the question, but in a concise way. Video interviews can take place through Skype, FaceTime or YouTube and are becoming increasingly popular for graduate roles, particularly in sales, media and marketing. Again, these are normally held during the initial screening process. Approach these as you would a face-to-face meeting, so dress in an appropriately smart way, check that your background is suitable to be on screen, and ensure that your body language is positive. So sit up straight, maintain eye contact, and smile. Second interviews mean that you've got through the first hurdle. The interviewer is impressed with you so far and now wants to look for further evidence of your skills and experience, how you will fit within the team and company culture, what value you can add, and what makes you stand out from the other candidates. We'll talk more later about how you fully prepare for an interview, but you should certainly make sure that you have obtained feedback from the first round and are prepared to discuss those areas further and demonstrate your capability. One-to-one interviews. These are face-to-face encounters with one interviewer after you have successfully got through the initial screening process and they think you might be what they're looking for. They're usually quite formal, but could also take place over lunch. You might also have several one-on-one interviews with different people, for example, the hiring manager and someone from HR. Panel interviews are similar to the one-on-one, but with two or more interviewers, again, normally from different parts of the organisation, and they'll assess you at the same time. In group interviews, multiple candidates are interviewed at the same time and either ask questions in turn or asked to discuss certain topics. Assessment centres involve a number of practical tasks, such as group discussions, psychometric tests, and in-tray exercises, and are used to assess a candidate's performance in a range of situations alongside other candidates, and they usually last 1 to 3 days. This in itself is a huge topic, so we've devoted a whole separate coaching module to this area. It's always useful to contact the recruiter ahead of time to understand what format your interview will take and who will be interviewing you to allow you to prepare effectively. The number of interview stages varies. It could be as few as 2, but I've seen 5 or more for certain roles. Often, recruiters will use the assessment centre format to condense all the activities and people they want you to meet into a shorter time frame.